You straight up cuckooed that dude, bro. Oh, my God.
You've got all your Charger gear on because
feeling fresh as hell.
Well, you guys better enjoy it. The fans loved it.
You have to love what you're seeing on tape if you're a Chargers fan, especially for the future with Justin Herbert.
On the move and throws and touchdown.
Do this together.
Players, coaches, staff, fans, together we can create something truly special.
Stay tuned for some good content.
Well, happy Tuesday, everybody. Welcome back to the Charger Chat. I'm your co-host, Wool Dog, sitting with my buddy, Kev Duggin.
I think I kind of like this better, Wool Dog. Just you and me. This is kind of the third wheel.
There's a lot of less trying to talk over each other and who's going to make the funny joke and all that kind of stuff. But
not like worrying what he's going to say and if he's going to embarrass himself, like that kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, gang. Well, yet again, we have another episode here without Kyle the Coach Duggin, but hold your tears, hold your sympathy for just a second because Kyle the Coach Duggin pulled his head out of the toilet and took it down to Cancun of all places. So
he's on a tour. He's on a tour.
Son of a bitch.
He might get that Montezuma's revenge if he's lucky.
Yeah, so everybody calm down. Coach is fine. He's just soaking up the sun. But he might make an appearance here at some point in the episode.
We may or may not have Coach.
We may or may not have some previously recorded Bolt Coach questions, observations, things like that. But lots to talk about this episode, folks. There's still moving and shaking going on in the league. And we've got a great fan focus lined up here. And as always, an Ask Boltfam. We will power through, coach or not. But let's start this off with the biggest news that hit before we haven't had a chance to talk about it yet. It feels like it's already been a month since this has happened, but Tyreek Hill no longer in the AFC West. Wowza.
I'm going to have to do one of my Charger Chat body rolls. That's how excited I am.
Do it.
Oh my God, dude. I saw this. Here's the thing. Thank God for Devontae Adams. Because without him getting that stupid contract with the Raiders,
it's true, yeah.
This doesn't happen.
Yeah.
So this is the reason why the Chiefs are always a problem for us.
Right.
Like Patrick Mahomes, sure.
Yeah.
But this is the player that has been our Achilles heel for the last however many years he's been with the team.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have to worry about this anymore.
Nope.
This
Not at all.
So huge, and the AFC West is so different now with this one player being off the Chiefs.
Yeah, no, he's a difference maker. And he's referred to as the cheetah because he is that fast. I mean, props to Tyreek Hill. I mean, obviously the guy, he's a Super Bowl winner, has been a problem for the Chargers and everybody in the AFC West, frankly. And yeah, after seeing the Devontae Adams deal, was like, hey, I want some of that kind of money. And the Chiefs were like, sorry, we spent it all on Patrick Mahomes,
sorry,
buddy.
my bad.
So, I mean, we got about a tree fitty. But that's about it.
It was interesting because I mentioned last episode I'm on set shooting a movie, and forgive me for the bags. I've been up all night.
Kevin's been doing late night shooting.
It's going well. If you were wondering, it's going well. But I'm on set with two Chiefs fans, like I mentioned.
Oh yes.
And we got the news when we were on set the first morning. And
what's been the vibes on set, Kev?
Morale is low for my electric department. Real low. Like I haven't seen them so upset in a long time. Because they've always had this, like, you know, they're amazing guys, but there's this kind of like, you know, this confidence that we're a better team.
Got a little chip on their shoulders.
Yeah, there's like this little kind of swagger they have. That swagger is gone.
There's a lot of drooped heads and dragging feet.
There's panic in Kansas City. There's a panic. So I feel for them. They're doing a great job on our movie, so I don't want to talk too much shit. Hopefully they don't listen to this until this is over, until we're done with the movie. But this is so awesome. So
I mean, initially it started off with us getting Khalil Mack, and what were their vibes to that? What was their response to that?
Yeah, they're disappointed.
Sure,
they're disappointed, but
they
weren't
like, yeah, we got Tyreek Hill, guys. Yeah, it's fine.
There's a difference between disappointment and crestfallenness. There's a certain level of crestfallenness with these guys now, and yeah, I love it every second of it.
Excellent. Well, yeah. So Tyreek Hill sent off to the Dolphins of all places, a 4-year, $120 million extension, including $72 million guaranteed. Chiefs were trading the Pro Bowler for 5 draft picks, a 2022 first-round pick, number 29, a second-round pick, a fourth-round pick, as well as a fourth and a sixth-round pick in 2023. So
they're getting some picks, but they're late first. The first round they picked up's a late one. Mm-hmm. It's weird. They go back to back now. It's like 28, 29 or something. So, there's certain kind of like an optimism I'm seeing on Twitter that like, yeah, we'll just find another Tyreek Hill in the first round. Like, that doesn't happen. That doesn't happen, Chiefs fans. You guys have been spoiled for a long time. This guy's one of a kind, and you let him walk.
Exactly. Yeah. People act like there's always a Tyreek Hill or there's always a Jamar Chase, just like sitting there waiting.
There's like a Tyreek Hill tree. You can go pull one off a branch.
Let's just go grab one of those. Yeah. I'll stop by the Tyreek Hill store on the way home, and I'll just pick a few up. I'll pick up a 12-pack. So it is. I mean, obviously, that's what they have to do now. They're paying Patrick Mahomes so much money that all they can do is afford a bunch of rookie contracts to supplement the rest of the team. And we knew that was going to end up happening.
Oh, so it was coming. It was coming. And it has arrived.
So Tyreek Hill, no longer an issue. And our own Keenan Allen had to pipe up on this as well, saying, this one going to expose some people. Glad he out the division too. #respect. So people have been kind of speculating as far as who it is that he's referring to when he's saying this one's going to expose some people. Is he talking about Patrick Mahomes? Is he talking about Tyreek Hill? Is he talking about Tua Tagovailoa? Like
it's going to expose, my opinion, what I saw from this. It's going to expose Patrick Mahomes,
because that has been. I mean, I'm going to be honest. Some of the funniest damn memes I've been seeing lately is Tyreek Hill's open and Tua Tagovailoa, and they keep showing these videos of people just like limp wrist throwing
He's open
things
60 yards down the field. It's like,
I think that could be what some of the talk. I have a feeling he's referring to Patrick Mahomes, but it might expose that Tua Tagovailoa might not be the big quarterback that everybody thinks is super accurate and all that jazz.
Imagine the pressure on Tua right now.
If
you don't do well with this guy,
absolutely,
you're done. You're out. You're gone. You don't belong in the NFL.
Right.
Like you can dump this off to him, and he can get you however. His passing yards are going to be so padded next year.
Oh, absolutely,
just with dump offs.
Absolutely.
So if he doesn't have like a top, he's a top 5 quarterback, top 10, in the league by the time it's all done.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, Dolphin fans.
It's going to expose some Tagovailoas, that's for sure.
Hell yeah.
All right. Well, let's, as we said, we've got some video here of Coach soaking it up on the beach. Let's see what he's got to say in regards to all of this.
Son of my mom.
All right. Vacation coach here reporting. I wanted to hop in. I'm on vacation with the kiddos, so I wasn't able to get on the main show. There's some big stuff going on. So first, the Tyreek Hill trade. I was just, it's like, it's weird to root against the team, like personnel, because I'm sure he's an okay guy, but I'm so glad he is no longer on the Chiefs. It just, it changes everything about that offense. When you go and see Patrick Mahomes play in real life, I think it's a little bit different than when you watch on TV. Like when I went to the Kansas City Charger game at SoFi this year, you realize how often he's dumping the ball off. It reminds me of Tom Brady. I think that's just what good quarterbacks do. But it's just like dump off, dump off, dump off, dump off. But if you're not dumping it off to the Tyreek Hills, and then what happens is a dump off, defense comes up, then you can hit Tyreek on those deep balls. So it's like Keenan said, it's gonna reveal a lot about that team, and I think some people are gonna get they're not gonna have as good a seasons as we think. I think they got all those draft picks. They're going to be able to rebuild. That's what you have to do when you pay your quarterback $500 million. So they're going to get talent. It's just going to be different. I think it's going to look a lot different, and it could cause a slow start trying to figure out how that's all going to look.
Mm-hmm.
I agree, Kyle. That looks really nice out there.
Yeah, that's you sound better.
You
look healthy.
Yeah, you're not puking.
Yeah.
It's we need some like Jimmy Buffett music behind that. You know what I mean? Just like
some
cool
slide guitar,
vibes.
some my guitar's out
Yeah.
of tune.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. Obviously, yeah. So that is going to be the situation. I mean, again, it's just like you're going to draft some guys, and you're going to hope you find a guy that's like somewhere close to Tyreek Hill, but
Yeah.
doesn't necessarily mean you're going to land on Tyreek Hill. I mean, every player that gets picked in the first round, you expect to be able to go out there and make the plays and do their job, but that's not always the case. I mean, sometimes you get guys, Tillery, and they end up being not exactly like first round draft picks. So sometimes like guys later in the draft, third round draft picks end up being amazing. Fifth, sixth, they just come out and explode, or undrafted rookies. But man, it's gonna be exciting.
Well, and it's definitely like even last year, the Chiefs had a slow start and they had all their weapons.
Absolutely, yes.
They had all their guys. So what could that look like this year? How slow of a start can you have? Like that's, if it's a little more than last year, they're not getting anywhere near the top of the AFC West. So
yeah,
it's just crazy how in one offseason the deck has been shuffled so much, and there's we have the shot of us winning the AFC West just went up exponentially, in my opinion.
Absolutely. And not even just on the Chiefs offensive side, but on the defensive side as well. Tyrann Mathieu not coming back. And they just traded Charvarius Ward, and I think Sorensen is also going elsewhere. So like a lot of their defensive side players they're gone. Like they're not coming back. So, and that's like all secondary business. So that's, they picked up
that's where Justin Herbert does his work.
Exactly. So it's gonna be fun to see. There's still plenty of time to go on in the off-season free agency business. Draft is about a month away at this point. So there's still plenty of time for moving and shaking to happen. But as it stands right now, that Tyreek Hill move is huge.
Huge.
It's huge. All right. Well, you would have thought that based on the reaction of some of the fans that we just traded away at Tyreek Hill, linebacker Kyzir White has agreed to terms with the Eagles per source. We saw this kind of coming. We saw the text exchange between Kyzir White and another Twitter.
That happened.
And it happened. We weren't 100% sure if it was real or not. But it does appear to be real. The Eagles are signing Kyzir White and giving him a 1-year deal worth up to $5 million, source said.
It's chump change, man.
It is.
Like this is clearly coach seeing him not as part of what he wants to do.
Well, I'm curious what you think. Do you think it's a coach thing, or do you think Kyzir just didn't want to be here anymore, wanted to go back to Philly?
I just based on that text message, you look at the text message, they said, it doesn't look like they basically want me back.
Oh, right.
Chargers aren't going to have me back.
Yeah.
I think he wanted to be a Charger. I think, he had a good season last year.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just something really Staley's molding this defense differently. Like this is not a crazy contract. So it's not. I'm 1 year worth up to $5 million.
Right.
That's if he hits all of his incentives and all of his stuff.
Right. Yeah.
So this is, when we look at players and, we have people that we like, that doesn't always match up with what the coaching staff wants.
Right.
They're seeing stuff we're not. They're at practices, we're not. So it's a bummer. I really, really liked watching Kyzir White.
I think we all did. I think every Charger fan wanted to see him come back again, based solely off of his productivity last year. That like, why would you not keep this guy around who
he's produced
numbers and getting better? Right. He's coming into it. The Tom Telesco talks about, we draft guys, we want them to grow within the organization. And you get somebody like Kyzir White who did that, and then you let him go. And it's not like he was asking for a crazy amount of money or signed for a crazy amount of money. It was up to $5 million. He might not even make $5 million based off of the incentives. So it is head scratching. It's tough for us as fans to look at situations like this and to go like, what the fuck? But I mean, we don't know what's going on behind closed doors. We don't know what the plan is. There has to be a plan, obviously. Like they wouldn't just be like, yeah, we didn't need him. Meh. Like there has to be like, what are we going to do to replace the guy that got us the most tackles last year?
Yeah.
So let's check with our token coach Kyle, the coach Duggin, had to weigh in on this situation as well. Let's see what he had to say.
Back to the beach.
Back to the beach.
All right, and then the Kyzir White. I don't know. That's a bummer. Clearly, his numbers were not what they were looking for. He made tackles, but maybe he wasn't getting to the right spots, or they were makeup tackles. I don't know. I couldn't tell. When I was watching football, all I knew is he was around the ball the whole time. So 1 year, $5 million feels tough that we couldn't offer something like that. I mean, it's crazy he didn't get more looks than that. He's still on a prove-it deal after the season that he had last year. He got snubbed from the Pro Bowl, which probably hurt him too. I don't know. I love Kyzir. I'm going to be rooting for him, pulling for him on the Eagles. Obviously, unless they play the Bolts. That'll be a fun thing to see how we address inside linebacker. They clearly didn't have a lot of faith in Kyzir, but this move also shows they do have some faith in Kenneth. So we'll see if they pull a trigger. There's still some big name free agents out there, or if they try to address it in the draft again. It's a new storyline to keep an eye on that I think kind of fell through the cracks.
Come on, Kenneth.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Kenneth didn't have the best season last year, but he at least had a good season, and that was his rookie season. He came out and after Drew Tranquil went down, it was a tackle machine, absolutely. So last year, it just didn't. I don't know if it was just the change of scheme.
The injury probably didn't help.
The injury, I mean, it was still recovering from the surgery, I'm sure.
Because we were at that home game when he went down. Remember that?
Oh, right.
The
Yeah,
Dallas game.
That's right. Yeah. What was it? It was an ankle or
knee or something. Like that.
It was something with his leg. He did get hurt. So it's hard to pinpoint again, because that's all stuff that we're not privy to as far as what's going on behind closed doors. But yeah, obviously there's either faith in Kenneth Murray or there's just a plan. There might be somebody in the draft that they've got their eye on, that they're just like, that could be the guy. Yeah. And I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. I mean, again, there's still time in free agency. I don't know what other linebackers are floating around. I keep seeing people talking about Bobby Wagner, and I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to it, but I feel like that guy's going to ask for way more money than what Kyzir White, and our cap space is slowly
we're spending that money.
Yeah.
I think there's definitely, we have some later round picks. They must see something in Neiman. I've said this before. They must see something in the guys they picked up last year. And that was Staley's first draft. So he's looking at players with certain styles and things that he wants. And I think those players that, maybe were later rounds might have more of an impact this year.
Right.
And he saw, he felt comfortable with them. So he's willing to let the older regime of players walk. So,
right.
Kind of bummed. It's Staley we trust. So
absolutely.
This defense is going to be so fun. But it would be cooler if Kyzir White was a part of it.
Yeah, I'd like to see more of our previous players hang around, but I understand that as you just said, it's a previous regime. It's somebody else wanted this guy, not necessarily Coach Staley. And the way that Kyle said, like, there might be some measurables, or there's some numbers or something that, like, he is looking for something specific. I don't know, maybe Kyzir's hands were too small, or he was an inch too short, whatever the situation might be. Obviously, there's something very specific that they're looking for, so much so that they're not willing to pony up a $5 million incentive contract for an extra year for Kyzir White. So Kyzir, hope you, like Kyle said, like, I'll be rooting for him. Like, I want him to do well, as long as he's not playing the Chargers. Like, hope he does well. But good luck to you, Mr. White. And if you guys feel like checking out a website that rhymes with White.
I was wondering what you were going to do with that segue.
I ran out of segues. Go on over to chargerchat.com. Check out some of the sweet merch we've got over there. T-shirts, hoodies, stickers, and check out the member section where you can chat it up with other Charger Chatteteers and ask questions and Ask Boltfam. Go check it out, chargerchat.com. All right, gang. Well, now it's time to go on to the next segment. It is Fan Focus. And if this is who I think this is an interesting storyline.
This is not a normal Fan Focus.
Yeah.
So
this is just a tribute. So let's take it. Let's go. Fan Focus. Here we go.
All right, guys, we are back with another Fan Focus, and we have a very unique one this week. We're really pumped to meet Chris from Minnesota, a brand spanking new Charger fan. What's going on, Chris?
Not too much, Kevin. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good. Thanks for coming on. This is a unique thing. This is awesome. We saw you posted a letter to the Dallas Cowboys, how you were out, done, moving on over it, and now you're a Charger fan. So usually here we ask, how did you become a fan? I really want to know what your decision-making process was from moving on and becoming a Charger.
Yeah. So, I mean, a little background, like, I'm 37 years old. I was born and raised in the Bay Area in California. About little over 5.5 years ago or so, I ended up moving to Minnesota. That's a totally different story. But yeah, so I'm originally from California. I'm 37. I've been a Dallas Cowboy fan since I was 7 years old. So moving into this decision, it was very hard for me because I cried with this team. I cheered with this team. I remember running up and down the street, on a Monday Night Football game when Tony Romo threw 4 interceptions and we still managed to come back and win on a last-second field goal, right? So my emotions have been with this team diehard for 30 years. And, it was a lot of within the last decade, what I felt was a lot of ineptitude and, a lack of prioritizing winning by this front office and the ownership, primarily Stephen Jones, that had led me to a path of like feeling really jaded. And then, recently, a few weeks ago, with the scandal about the sexual misconduct and harassment stuff going on, with cheerleaders, it just didn't sit right with me anymore. And morally and principally as a man and a human being, I couldn't realistically find a reason to root for a team that was doing that, especially when I had been dragging like the Washington football team or now the Commanders through the mud for the last 3 years for essentially the same thing.
Sure. Gotcha. So yeah, sounds like a good enough reason to jump. And you were there through the 90s. You were there in the heyday of the Cowboys. So, I'm sure it wasn't easy, but then talk us through the Chargers. Why the Chargers? What about this team are you excited about? What made you want to come over?
Yeah. So like I said before, I'm originally from California, and you would think that I would have maybe been a Oakland Raiders fan or a San Francisco 49ers fan. And almost all of my friends and family back home are Niners fans. Right. So when I was even talking about this, even, bringing it up kind of as a joke, they were super on the recruitment train. But right. Yeah, for sure. They're like, man, we've been waiting 30 years for this. Right. But no. So I made a joke about it on Twitter, and one of the first fan bases that reached out was the Bolt Gang. And I was kind of surprised by that. But the fans were super welcoming, and they were like crazy recruiting me. Like the profile picture I have on Twitter right now, like that was drawn by a fan just like because she wanted to do it. And I was like, man, that's crazy. Right.
Yeah,
so
that's us.
So the fan base was super welcoming, number one. But number two, I've always been a fan of the Chargers from afar, like never like publicly rooted for them. But as a fan of the Dallas Cowboys, I was like, well, I can root for an AFC team. That's fine. Right. But LT is my favorite running back of all time. I went to Oregon, and I'm a diehard Oregon Duck fan. So I'm a Justin Herbert stan. Right.
There you go.
And my fiance is a Chargers fan. Now she's kind of a casual football fan, but her dad, rest his soul, was diehard Chargers fan. And so she was a Chargers fan, but she rooted for the Cowboys because I'm her fiance.
Sure.
But when I told her the news, and I was like, hey, I'm getting dragged on Twitter right now for switching to the Chargers, she's like, it doesn't matter. I get to wear all my gear now. I'm so happy. So now we're a united household too. So like how I was feeling about the Cowboys and really jaded, and then all that extra news, and then the Charger fan that reached out to me, like all the fans that reached out to me, and me loving them anyways, and my fiance being a fan, it just kind of made sense. Like, you know what I mean? Like there were higher powers telling me this is where you need to go.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you're definitely going to get some husband brownie points for that. I'm telling you. My wife's a Packer fan, and it'd be a lot easier if she was a Charger fan. But yeah, that's the Charger fan base. Like we're not this, we had to start over again. We lost a lot of fans. So it's just a really tight knit group of cool people that just want to support each other. So I'm glad, some of us reached out and helped you get that thing going and made you feel welcome. Cause that's what football's all about, man. It's family. It's like bringing people together. So yeah, we're glad to have you, man. We're pumped about it,
man. Thank you so much. It's honestly, like I was talking to a couple of friends of mine after I put out the quote unquote official statement. I just want to make this clear for everybody, right? This wasn't me like trying to grab attention. I wasn't clout chasing. We're all in the free agency frenzy right now. And so the couple of my buddies of mine who are 49er fans, we were like, well, why don't we just do like a free agency theme? Why don't we do like a LeBron decision? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we had like a Twitter space, and there was like 80 people in there, and and like fans from different teams. He was pretending to be my agent. We're like, yo, throw us some pitches, right? People were offering astronomical numbers, whatever. But I just wanted people to know I wasn't trying to clout chase with this. We were just trying to have fun with it. So the response for what it turned into was not what we anticipated. Sure. You know what I mean? But yeah.
Well, we're pumped, man. We're excited, and definitely stay in touch. We want to, help you through that first year. And man, what a first year to be a Charger fan. We got Khalil Mack. We got some stud, Joey Bosa, Derwin James, JC Jackson, dude. We are rolling
everybody
talent.
Yeah. No, I'm a diehard NFL fan first and foremost, right? So like one thing that I did a lot in the Cowboys Twitter sphere was a lot of deep dive and analysis. I watch a ton of film all week long. I follow a lot of different stuff. So outside of me just being fun and like trying to bring some like entertainment to people's timelines, I want to jump in Twitter spaces and I want to get involved with like some of the content creators. And as much of a fan of football as I am, like I don't know this team the way I knew the Dallas Cowboys. And so what my expectations year one is just to have fun, start building that emotional connection so I can be stressed out in close games and have it matter to me. But also I want to learn more about these players on a deeper level when it comes to like the film, because you know what I mean? So I'm just excited for sure. Right.
Well, we're pumped, man. We're excited for you. And hey, Chris, we appreciate your time. We appreciate you coming on and chatting with us and sharing. So thanks, man.
Absolutely, brother. Thanks for having me.
I'll take care. We'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, you too, buddy.
What a good dude. What a great guy.
We got one.
We got one.
Get him on the boat.
He's a fighter.
Yeah.
He's a fighter. Wow, Chris, that is what a tumultuous way to go through this. It's interesting to watch this offseason, the way not just Chris, but a lot of other teams, there's been so much moving and shaking, so many quarterback moves. Like you're seeing leaders move and transfer from one team to another, and other fans that are just like, well, wait a minute, like this was the guy that I was rooting for, and now things are changing. Obviously, Chris's situation is different with the Cowboys, but like it's a weird offseason for fans to stick around with their teams, because I'm seeing people post about I'm jumping ship, I'm going somewhere else, and I've seen a lot of people kind of gravitate towards the Chargers, and whether that's because of Justin Herbert or whether that's just because of the good-naturedness of the Chargers and not having any arrests or legal issues within the last 5 years, like whatever the reason, I love it.
I think it's people just like, in deep down, they just like exciting football, like just fun football. And
you came to the right place, my friend.
Justin Herbert plays some of the most exciting football you'll see.
100%.
Like what he's capable of doing. So I think this is the Herbert effect. I really do. I think it's helped. If people were on the fence about his situation, how he felt about the organization and all that, it's an easy, and he's an Oregon Duck. Like that's just easy.
Sure, so, that works.
Good on his wife or soon to be wife and him. Enjoy your Chargerdom. It'll be fun.
Absolutely, yes. Happy to have you, Chris. All right, gang. Well, now it is time to go on to the next segment. It is Ask Boltfam, 2-person edition. Let's see how this goes.
Oh shit.
Time to put your money where your mouth is.
Hi, guys.
Don't jam a thumb up his butthole. That's what you do.
I wet myself in excitement.
Oh, so hungry.
Your thoughts are like totally appreciated.
Catch you later, dude.
Okay, love you, boy.
All right. Ask Bolt Fam coming in hot, folks. We start this off with House of Hain.
Yes.
Who asked the question?
Yes.
I'll say, I love the podcast. You guys really know how to swing it. Slap the like button harder than, well, you know who. I'll say, who would take it better, Chris Rock or Carr? Carr would fall before the slap. F the Raiders. Love you, bye.
Oh, this is timely.
This is current.
Dude, it was funny because I was on set last night and I was working. One of the actors in the movie was just on a set with a Will Smith movie and had a text thread with all the cast members.
Jesus.
So I honestly forgot the Oscars were on last night, and then all of a sudden they're watching a video. The actors watching a video, and that's how I found out. Like this like text thread from all the other actors.
Yeah.
So wow.
Yeah, wowee.
No, honestly, Chris Rock took it like a champ, and then
Chris Rock,
kept doing
seemed like unfazed. It was just like, took the hit, but was just like more just flabbergasted that even happened.
Yeah, he is. Will Smith is Charmin Ultra Quadruple Ply Soft. What a soft man that couldn't handle taking a little joke.
Right.
But I still think I think Carr would have gone down harder. He would have like probably curled up into a ball and been on the stage, and they'd have to I just imagine some crew members like dragging him out while he's on the ground, like just one leg pulling him off the stage. That would be that's what would probably happen in my mind.
You take a leg, I'll take a hand. Come on, buddy. Come on. It's
he's
all
just
right.
like,
I know. It's a sad day, but that's why you got your helmet. Carr would fold faster than Superman on laundry day. So there you go, House of Hayne. Thank you for asking the question. Let's move it on now to Landon Sumner, who asked the question. Why does Gus Bradley continue to suck our proverbial wieners? That's Casey Hayward, Denzel Perryman, Damian Square, and now Kyler Fackrell? It's like Las Vegas has to hope players get lost on their way to the East Coast and wander in the casinos where Gus Bradley and Davis prey on leftover players. Nonetheless, the AFC West is going to be a battle of titans, yes? No bother. We have Herbert to crush all who opposed us to the Staley Reich. Oh, my.
Oh, yeah. This is... but the thing is, Kyler Fackrell had no connection with him before. He literally is just. I think Gus Bradley is just so infatuated with our team. He watches all of our games.
Absolutely, yeah. Every team will watch tape on the opposing team to kind of scheme accordingly. But
Gus Bradley watches every pot. He probably watches all the all-ins too. Like he's watching all of it.
By the way, as we're recording this, we haven't mentioned it yet.
All in tonight.
New All In is tonight.
Man.
So it'll be out by the time you guys see this. So if you're watching this and you haven't checked it out yet, go watch All In, because this is going to be...
Bradley will be too.
Oh, yes. He'll be tuning in. So,
and Certified Fresh. Thanks, Landon. I blew it.
100%.
I'm a little tired, but
it's okay. He's just a little slow in the upswing, Landon. Thank you for asking the question. Let's move it on now to Sufficient Tomato 60, who asked the question. The Kyzir White is gone. Coach doesn't value linebackers. Will this be the flaw in our defense that teams will exploit?
Well, I think we had linebackers last year, and teams exploited the shit out of us on the run. So,
right,
I think it's less that, more just the right guys, the right personnel, the right defensive line.
Mm-hmm.
And he's all about playing, the coverages that he plays. He needs a lot of DBs.
Right.
So, he needs those. That's why I'm surprised Kyzir White left, because he needs like hybrid guys. He needs guys that can drop into coverage, but that can also be stout. So that's why Kyzir White was such a wild, confusing drop. So yeah, it's a good point. I think he definitely doesn't probably put as much value into the linebacker position in terms of personnel as he does the secondary, for sure.
I don't know. I'm not stressed about it. I mean, I trust Staley. He's got a game plan. He's not just going like, we'll throw, the janitor in there and it should be fine. Like, obviously there's a game plan to go there. So, what will that, will that necessarily be a flaw that other teams can exploit? Maybe.
But the thing is, like, we have so many new strengths. So it's like a give and take. You can't have a roster of like the top guys across the board. It just doesn't work out.
Right.
So if you have like 2 out of the 3 levels of the defense are amazing, it will compensate for a different one. So I think it's just like the scale of power is just kind of adjusting where Staley wants it.
There you go. I like it. All right. Well, there you go. Sufficient Tomato 60. Thank you for asking the question. Let's move it on now to Senora Snappy, who asked the question. Baseball is back. Hoo-ah! During the offseason, Justin's throwing arm has gotten restless. Does he work out his kinks with the Dodgers? Will he earn his wings with the Angels? Should he share the home run bling with the Padres? Or Does Herbert betray us all by going to the damn Yankees? Trickery! Woo-ha!
Good one. Good question. I got to go Padres because I'm a Padre fan. Sorry to everyone out there. The Dodger fans, I am a Padre fan. So I'll take a little Herbo on the Padres with that vibe.
I don't know, man. I feel like Herbert's just like, I'm just going to practice at home. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks. I don't think
he's just hitting more hole-in-ones. He's keeping his arm in form with his golf swing.
There you go.
He's got some mechanics there hitting hole-in-ones. So
yeah,
accuracy. Let's keep working on that accuracy.
Yeah.
Keep hitting those hole-in-ones, Justin.
Or he does like a Justin Herbert tour because he just wants to make everybody happy, and he'll just like tour around with all the baseball teams.
It was like that Will Ferrell thing. Did you ever see that?
Yeah,
where
exactly.
like one day he's on every single team.
Exactly. Yeah. I think Herbert might pull a Will Ferrell in that regard.
He's a people pleaser. Look, he's bringing in fans from all over the place.
Exactly.
That seems like the most logical answer.
Yeah. Let's go. Justin Herbert tour 2022.
2022.
All right. There you go, Senor Snappy. Thank you for asking the question. Moving on now to Gas Man.
Yeah.
Who asked the question? Which Bolt player would you choose to win in a match of Mortal Kombat? What would his fatality move be? I'm going with Austin Eckler, where he rips the dude's spine out and starts wailing on it like a guitar.
I love this one.
Mortal Kombat.
I got one. I got to go on.
Go, please.
So, it's Joey Bosa, and the guy's laying on the ground, and he just teabags and squashes his head. Just an exploding skull teabag. That would be my Mortal Kombat finish. But I do like the Eckler spine one. That one's definitely very good.
That is a great one. Yeah, I was just thinking like, oh, Joey Bosa teabagging, and then you said it. So
yes, I stole it. Sorry.
I can't take it. I'm gonna say Justin Herbert, because there was always there were different levels in Mortal Kombat. You had fatality, you had babality, where they would turn into babies, and then there was like there was a friendship one. I think Justin Herbert would just have the friendship one, where he would just like sit down with somebody and have a lunch or something like that. Like, he would cook him brisket. Oh, he would cook him brisket.
No, he'd murder them and then he put them on a Traeger and cook him to a nice temperature.
Okay, so the friendship one, he would just have lunch with them, but the actual fatality, yes, he would put him on a Traeger grill and slow cook him till he died. So.
And then Gabe Neighbors would run out and they'd cannibalize him.
All right. See, it took a while, but we got there.
We got there. We found it. What a great question. I love that hypothetical.
Awesome question, Gas Man. Thank you for asking it. Let's move it on now to Owent178.
Certified Fresh.
Who asked the question? Very nice. Which Charger will have the breakout year? My bet is Jalen Guyton becomes a legit wide receiver 3-4. He's good.
I like. Who you got, Will Dog?
It's gonna be interesting because I mean the guys that have breakout years, I think, are always the flashier players. You know, whether it's on the defensive side, it's guys that are getting interceptions or tackles. If it's on the offensive side, they're getting catches or yardage. I think I think Guyton is a good option. Honestly, I think Palmer might even be a good option as well, given the situation.
He caught everything last year.
Did not miss a catch, did not drop a ball. So, I'd have to say Palmer. I'm going to say Palmer.
That's a good answer. I'm going left field because I'm looking for somebody that is like kind of on the floor right now that could explode through the roof. Somebody's going to take running back too. And I think Larry Roundtree is going to have a much better year. I think I don't know. I haven't heard what we're doing with Jackson yet. So I think Larry Roundtree could be the breakout guy next year. We saw flashes of it in the preseason last year. Yeah. He just didn't get the rhythm. He didn't get the rhythm. He didn't get the rhyme. He didn't get the running back time. You know what I mean? So I think that's cool runnings. So I think Larry Roundtree is my pick.
Okay. I like it.
A fun breakout. We'll see. The bar's low, so he can exceed that.
All right. Well, there you go. Owen2178, thank you for asking the question. Moving on now to Daniel Llewellyn,
Danny boy.
who asked the question. What's up, bro chachos? Okay. So, like, what do you think we could get as compensation if we trade back in round 1? And who would be potential trade partners? Okay, later on, dudes. Well, all right. So I'll tell you right now, we are not draft gurus by any way, shape, or form.
As you know by my meltdowns and my predictions from previous years, I am the least reliable person to talk about the draft, and I have no problem stating that.
Yeah. So take the opinion with a grain of salt. But as far as who we could trade back with and what we could get as compensation, I don't know. Who do you think, Kev?
I'm looking at all the teams behind us. I don't want any of them to get better in the first round. Like that's just how I'm looking at it.
Sure.
The Chiefs now have 2 picks. I'm sure they could package something to come up and steal a guy.
Mm-hmm.
I want that pick. I want that first round talent. I'm okay not having a 2.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to package up some of the later picks we have and move up to mid round, we've been successful with some of these mid round guys. You know what I mean? We've had standout play. Some of our better players are 3rd and 4th round guys.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to package that, later part of the draft and move up, I'm all for that. First round, I'm looking at these teams behind us. There's so many AFC teams behind us. The AFC is a wild. The
AFC is
West
stacked this year.
Yeah, it's crazy. I don't want them to get better. I don't want any of those teams to get better.
Yeah.
So unless it's something ridiculous, but we'll have to see. There's going to be a lot of great options for us at right tackle. There's going to be some secondary players. There's going to be some linebackers. There's going to be a little bit of everything at our pick. So, Telesco's pretty even keel. The last couple years have been pretty crazy with his trading, but I think I don't want to go anywhere. I want that pick. I don't want any of these AFC teams to get better.
Absolutely. I'm with you. I don't think there's a need to trade back. I think while we are pretty well staffed in most positions, I think there's still an opportunity to really move up in a level by maintaining that 17th pick and utilizing whoever we get immediately. That being said, if somebody were to trade back, I've been hearing that the Steelers have been looking at some of the quarterbacks, and I forgive me, I don't know every quarterback that's coming out in the draft, but there's one guy who I've seen some play on. I want to say it's Wills Malik
Liberty.
Yeah. So I think I've heard that they've been looking at him. So if there's any concern between where we are and where they're at, they might want to move up to pick him up. And
I think that unless you can guarantee you're going to jump up ahead of us and grab a quarterback, all the other positions I would rather have and not let you have if you're an AFC team.
Yeah.
So, but as I've said before we started answering this question, I am not a reliable narrator.
None of us
don't trust me.
We are not reliable sources as far as as far as draft anything. So, so take it as you will, Daniel Llewellyn, but thank you for asking the question. If you guys have ideas as far as who we could trade back with, put it down in the comments, because
YouTube us. Come on,
I would love to see it. Yeah, I'd like to see what everybody else is saying. All right, well, let's move it on now to Snoker
Certified Fresh.
Okay, who asked the question? A lot of Charger fans want a wide receiver like Williams or Olave in round 1 at 17 to bring speed to a less than lightning quick wide receiver core of Allen, Williams, and last year's round 3 pick Palmer. Chiefs now have 2 first-round picks at 29 and 30 and a need at wide receiver. Do you think the Chiefs' new need plays into the draft calculus for Tommy T? That is, do you think Tommy T says, I like Olave and McDuffie equally at 17. I should take Olave so he doesn't fall to the Chiefs? Or is this draft so loaded with wide receivers that it really doesn't make a difference?
I'm not as worried about them finding a Tyreek Hill. I think people are like, okay, if they get a speedy receiver, they'll have a Tyreek Hill. Like, that just doesn't happen.
Mm-mm.
But that being said, like I said in the previous question, I don't want the Chiefs to get better. I don't want to give them. They're going to get better because they have 2 first-round picks. Why help them get up even earlier? You know what I mean?
Right.
I want no business. I wonder when the last time we traded with the Chiefs was, like, you know, in a draft.
Ever.
Like, honestly, I don't remember, like, in the AFC, like, usually, like, they probably have, like, the block on the phone. If, like, AFC's calling the Chargers, or the Raiders are calling the Chargers, any of the team, Tommy T just got, like, do not disturb. Like, I'm not talking to your ass.
Block numbers.
Get out of here. Not interested.
Yeah.
Screw you guys.
What is that? A Vegas number? Don't pick it up.
It's either somebody in prison or it's a GM.
Yeah,
somebody's
I'm not
calling.
here.
I'm not here.
Well, I think the question of drafting, like, defensively, like, I don't want this team to get this person, so I'm going to draft him instead.
It's not real. Yeah,
I don't think that's
not going to fall into it.
No,
but.
I don't think that would in the real world happen. I think if you're playing Madden, maybe that might happen. But I Tommy D, as we've seen in the past, is just going to pick the best player available. So, like, even if somebody drops to 17 and isn't even necessarily a position in need, but it's just insane that this guy just dropped to 17 and isn't a quarterback, like, there's a good chance we're going to draft him. So we'll find out what it is. But drafting, I mean, I've seen people saying that they want us to draft a wide receiver in the first, which it makes sense. I mean, I think, again, people are seeing the success of Jamar Chase with Joe Burrow and just how well Jamar Chase played, and I get it, but, like, again, there's no Jamar Chase store, there's no Jamar Chase tree that you can just go pick a Jamar Chase from and have the instant success that the Bengals had last year.
And I want to go back to this. Like, I want Justin Herbert upright and safe.
Yeah,
that is more important at this point to me. I think Jalen Guyton is our speed guy. And I think if he continues to do what he's doing, I don't see a need to do another speed guy at 17.
Sure.
Protect the guy who's throwing to the speed guys.
Yeah.
That's my number one priority. Fortify that offensive line.
Yeah. So we'll see what the Chargers end up doing. But Snoker, thank you for asking the question.
Thank you.
Let's move it on now to Cerberus21, who asked the question. This may come across as controversial, but 100% was for Parham being tight end 1, and I wish we spent the Gerald Everett money on a right tackle or backup defensive back, because I'm so willing to roll with Anderson and McKitty, who I believe are very underrated, and draft a late-round vertical threat tight end. I get Everett is maybe a better blocker than Parham, but as far as receiving threat and yak ability, I am fully on the chicken parmesan train. If he gets 80% of the tight end snaps, I'd bet over on 800 yards and 8 TDs, and you can book it. My question to the Charger chat is, who would you rather guard for a single play for $1 million to prevent a reception? Keenan Allen or Donald Parham? And as always, go Bolts, and Derek Carr can eat my shit.
Oh, God, I love it. Okay, this is an impossible task, but
yeah,
I can't jump anywhere. I'm 6'1", so there's no way I'm staying with Keenan Allen, but at least he can just, like, it can't stand over me and just put his hands up and catch a ball.
Right.
Like, I could trip him. I could do something. I could
I don't
know. I could hold him.
Yeah, get a penalty.
You didn't say if there's any refs in this situation.
Right.
But Parham is just, there's nothing you can do. I can't jump that high. I have no hops, so he wouldn't even have to run.
Yeah.
Just take one step out, then catch it, and that'd be over.
It'd be done.
Yeah,
I mean, we're done either way. I think there's no way this happens. Keenan Allen, I mean, at the very least, I would go for Donald Parham, because I feel like if I try to block Keenan Allen, my ankles are going to break and I'm going to be in the hospital and I'm going to have to owe more money to fix myself in this situation. So I would rather, if I'm going to lose, I might as well lose to somebody like Donald Parham, who's just going to be taller than me and is going to be able to catch the ball. So
fair enough.
Maybe I can tickle him and he'll put his arms down, and then I'll stop the block. But
that's a much better way. I think yours is smarter.
All right, Cerberus21, thank you for asking the question, and also in regards to the tight end business, again, I gotta trust these guys that they're picking these guys for a reason. And I think Everett's going to be fun to watch, man. I think seeing the success he had with Seattle, now coming to the Chargers and playing with Justin Herbert, I think it's going to be night and day difference.
And we gotta be careful with Parham. He just had one of the worst concussions any of us have ever seen.
Yeah.
So I think we're gonna have to. I don't think he's gonna play. He's gonna have to ease back in. It's not somebody you can like jump in and be like the most reliable guy right off the bat, just for the safety's sake. So I'm excited for Parham. I love Parham.
Yeah.
I think he could be. I think this could be a different situation if that injury didn't occur last year.
Mm-hmm.
We could be talking about something different, but. Everett is a great tight end, and he's going to be a value to the team for sure.
100%. All right. Thank you, Cerberus21. And now let's move on to Nick, who asked the question. It's the Hunger Games 2.0. You are allowed to choose just one of the new Chargers acquisitions from free agency as your partner to defeat 50 Derek Carrs, 20 Max Crosbys as your opponents. Who are you picking as your partner, and what do you select as your weapon? Gardening tools only, and the battle arena is SoFi Stadium.
I like this a lot.
Mm-hmm.
This is pretty easy because I think you could eliminate the 50 Derek Carrs pretty quickly. I think if you just have if Khalil Mack, his weapon is sunglasses, and he just takes them off and looks in Derek Carr's eyes, they'll all fall over and just
run out of the stadium.
They just bail. They just quit. Just sunglasses is his weapon.
There you go.
That's mine. What's yours for Crosby?
I think I would have for Crosby.
Like a Rashawn Slater might be a good option.
Well, okay, so he says of the new Chargers acquisition. So I don't know if he's talking about just strictly this previous free agency. So if that's the case, I would maybe say Sebastian Joseph Day, just because he's got such a good smile. I think you would just completely you would kind of let your guard down a little bit because oh man, look at that smile, man. That guy looks really friendly, and then bam,
yeah, for sure.
Get you. While your guard's down. So gardening tools. I mean, whoever you're fighting, you gotta fight with a hoe, right? You gotta hit the hoe with the hoe, right? That's
taking out hoes.
That's the play. Yeah.
Hose for show.
All right. Nick, thank you for asking the question. Let's move on now to Rough Cut V1.
Yep.
Who asked the question?
Why is Wool Dog in Iowa again? And for Chargers history, how about a stadium food history? How has it changed over time? Was it ever any better or worse in different eras of stadium management? Or maybe a crowd misbehavior history? I know we're all good people, but is there an equivalent of a 5-cent beer night moment at all in Chargers crowd history?
Iowa.
Yeah. All right. So first of all, it's not Iowa. I mean, I love Brian Balaga, Iowa, but
Adam Woolley,
it's Wool Dog,
Iowa.
Idaho. And I had to move up here because my folks moved up here, and I needed to move back in with my folks for a brief period of time. That was over 10 years ago at this point.
Yeah.
And I've just been up here ever since. So
maybe not for long.
And maybe not for long. Oh, there might be a move in Wool Dog's future. We'll have to wait and see. And yeah, great ideas for Charger history, Mike Modlin. I hope you're listening because
I could do an entire history on those garlic fries.
Oh,
at
sure.
Qualcomm.
Yeah. Yes.
I could do they're so good. They're so good. I've never had anything quite like those, besides the stadium.
Yeah. I'd be curious if there was any other unique items that the Chargers sold as food products. And yeah, some misbehavior history. I know we don't necessarily like to celebrate misbehavior, but might be interesting to see what has happened with any rowdy Charger games.
I just remember. You remember at Qualcomm those spiral things that you go down?
Absolutely.
I remember going down there and they had the police security section, and I just remember going down one time. There were a whole bunch of Raider fans cuffed. I just remember that vividly. So that'd be interesting too. I'd like the history between Raider fans and Charger fans.
Yes.
I'd love to know more about that
between the two.
So, Mike, I don't know if you're listening to this one, but that could be fun.
You better be. All right, Rough Cut V1. Thank you for asking the question. Let's move it on now to DeMarcus. Cut your ass up.
Yep.
Who asked the question?
Who's running back 2 next season? Pick one former Charger to replace one starter on this year's roster. Who are you picking to help us win the Super Bowl? Hoo-ha!
Well, first, running back 2 next season. Kevin mentioned Larry Roundtree at the beginning. Honestly, that wouldn't upset me if we had Larry Roundtree in a sophomore year, having played with Austin Eckler and Brandon Staley 1 year in. I wouldn't hate that personally.
No, I think that's probably what's going to happen. We got to remember this offense is definitely more difficult and nuanced than probably a lot of college offenses, especially at Missouri. So I think give him some time to learn the playbook a little better because he's got all the physical attributes. I like him better than Kelly, and I don't know if Jackson's going to be around. We'll still have to wait on that.
We will, yeah.
But I'm going to stay in the running back situation for this.
Okay.
As I love Eckler with all my heart, but if I could have LT on this team in his prime, like I don't know how you don't do that.
Sure,
like,
yeah.
I just don't know how you don't do that.
Yeah. I would have to say I don't know.
Jamal Williams, nose tackle, could be pretty sweet.
I wouldn't hate that. I'd probably have to bring in Seau, man. I think Seau would just bring a ferociousness to the defense that not that we I think we lacked a bit of ferociousness last year, so I think that would be
Seau would be fun.
Bringing Seau in would be great. So all right. Well, there you go. DeMarcus, cut your ass up. Thank you for asking the questions. Let's move it on now to Ricky, who asked the question.
Ricky Bibby.
Ricky Bibby.
What's the difference between a nose tackle and a defensive tackle, and which is more important in Staley's defense?
What was the inspiration behind starting this podcast?
Kyle's 3 current players versus Kevin's 3 legacy players in pickup basketball. Who wins, Wolldog?
Okay, so we'll circle back to the position question when we've got our token coach with us, who can answer much more detail.
And my pickup team would definitely win, but you'll have to wait for next Tuesday to find out what.
Hey, first of all, he didn't ask you; he asked me.
Well, I got to give you the players.
That's true. That's true. But the inspiration behind starting the podcast, I defer to you, Kev, because I didn't even realize I was a part of this podcast until you.
Yeah, it was kind of wild because Kyle, we were texting one day, and he was a head coach for a high school football team, and then he had a new baby coming, and he's like, he had to step down from that. He's like, dude, I still want to like talk about football and break down tape and like look at stuff. He's like, we should do a podcast. This was in 2018.
All right, yeah.
And I was like, yeah, sure. And then you and I were working on some stuff, and we were like, we'll try it. Like we had we're just gonna try and record one episode. I was like, we got to bring Wolldog on because he's a diehard Charger fan and it'd be super fun. They're like, yeah, let's see if Wolldog will do it. And then I called you, and you're like, wait, what? Like you were like flabbergasted. Why? Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, what are we doing? Well, because it was funny because you sent me on Facebook. You were one of those like this page, and I was like, okay, Kevin's my buddy. I will like you. Oh, he's doing something Charger related. I'll like that. And then you were like, hey, we want you to do it. And I'm like, but what? Like,
come again?
Yeah, a baking powder.
Yeah,
squeeze me.
Yeah.
So yeah, so we wanted, and we wanted to be shamelessly positive. I think that was the big deal. Yeah, we wanted to have fun talking about the Chargers, like, and just not necessarily like, I mean, yes, we have our moments of like judgment and scrutiny, but more than anything, like, we're fans, man. Like, we want to root for these guys. We want to see these guys be successful. So if you're looking for a shamelessly positive podcast for the Chargers, come to the right place.
Well, and we started it right when everything was kind of looking a little bleak. Like we were at the small stadium. People weren't that high on us. We weren't doing that well. Like we just weren't getting the kind of feedback we were getting before the move. And we're just like, we just gotta, get together and talk. And we're not around Charger fans, so it's like, let's just get around and talk every week. So that's kind of how it all happened.
Yeah, being all separated. Kevin being in Missouri, me being in Idaho, Kyle still being in California. It was just like, it was a way for us to kind of be together and just to, more than anything, just for us to chat about the Chargers. And if somebody happens to be listening to the conversation, then hey, awesome. So it just
almost 4 years later, here we are.
It just kind of grew from there. So all right, well, there you go, Ricky. Thank you for asking the questions. And again, we'll cut back to the other questions when we get our
circle back
Coach
to
Duggin.
Coach. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Got to let him get in on this.
All right, well, now let's move it on to Aaron, who asked the question.
Who is cooler, Senior Snappy or Senorita Snappy? No bitching out and saying both.
Dude, why are you trying to put us in a bad spot here, Aaron?
Yeah, Aaron. What are you doing to us here? Go ahead.
Go ahead. You go.
I was going to say
think about this.
For Senior Snappy's sake, and his living situation, I'm going to say my favorite is Senorita Snappy, because she makes more food than Senior Snappy has ever made for me. So,
yeah, it's not fair. It's not a fair question. I don't know how to answer it.
We love them both. We love them both.
They're on an even playing field, but like Adam said, she gave us food, dude. And she made me a drink. I think you made me a drink too, and you gave me the kettlebell, and you've been amazingly cool. But all due respect, Senora. For now, but I can't be swayed, Senior Snappy. I can be swayed.
He can be bought.
I can be bought. Yeah, I can be bought. I'm a weak man.
All right. Well, thanks for asking such a divisive question, Aaron.
Shit.
All right. Well, let's go out of this Ask Boltfam with Sean Sherman, who asked the question.
Certified fresh.
Okay, there you go. Would you rather get punched in the dick by a Raiders fan every week for the rest of your life, or start Storm Norton at right tackle for the whole 2022 season? Ho ho! Also, are you guys stoked that Tyreek Hill is out of the AFC West? Another Boise Chargers fan here. Love the podcast. Can't love you. Bye. Ho ho!
Oh boy, what a great question. Great.
Okay, so either getting punched in the dick by a Raiders fan every week?
I don't think Storm Norton's that bad.
I was gonna say,
well, all due respect, I don't need to make any more kids, so I could go that direction if it meant an elite left tackle. But I think a Storm Norton might be a safer bet for future well-being and being able to go to the bathroom.
Yeah, I honestly is Storm Norton the best right tackle? No. Is he serviceable? Yes, we've seen plenty of games of him being serviceable enough. And honestly, as much as I want to protect Herbert and want to make sure that he stays protected, we've seen Herbert play well under pressure. And if anything, he is one of the
so positive.
If anything, he is one of the best quarterbacks under pressure. So, is it worth getting punched in the dick every week for the whole 2022 season versus Storm Norton playing right tackle? I will gladly let Storm Norton play right tackle for the whole 2022 season.
Let's flip this. If you could promise a Super Bowl with one punch in the dick every day for the whole 22 season,
every day,
I'd consider it. For a Super Bowl, like I said, I don't need to have any more kids. I'm fine. I'm sure catheters are okay,
dude. I think by 2
Super
weeks
Bowl,
in, you were just gonna be like, this isn't worth it.
You just get used to I'm a routine guy. You just get used to the routine.
But it's a punch in the dick by a Raider fan.
As long as it's not waking me up.
Somebody going all right, you know what has to happen, bam.
They just cut. It's going to be more inconvenient for them to come over to my house.
They're going to follow through with it. They're not just going to go bah or give you a little flick on the newts.
I'm a shamelessly positive guy. I think after the first week, we become, a friendship would happen. There'd be something there. He might pull back 15-20%. It wouldn't be as hard. There would be some kind of connection. This guy is literally touching your dick every week for a whole season, or lady. I'm not sure who this Raider fan is. So there is a certain level of intimacy that comes with that.
I think. No.
Storm Norton for Bulldog.
Storm Norton for life. All right. Well, there you go, Sean Sherman. Thank you for asking the question, and thank you everybody for asking questions. We had to record this a little bit earlier, so if you guys asked questions and we didn't get to them, I'm
sorry. The movie's killing my schedule.
It's just scheduling conflicts can kind of screw things up a little bit, but thank you everybody for asking questions. And if we didn't get to it, just ask it again next week. I promised you we'll get to it and we'll be more on track.
Question I want to propose. Do we need Kyle back? I feel like this went pretty well.
I think we do, because there's so many times that we're just
That's true.
Yeah, we need.
Well, you weigh in the comments.
Yes, we definitely need our token coach back. But
just kidding, Kyle. Enjoy your beach.
All right. Well, that's it for this episode, and be sure to tune in this Friday episode because we have something pretty special lined up.
Yeah. So last week we randomly got the opportunity to interview Matt Money Smith himself.
Hey, wow.
Caveat: I was on set shooting a movie and I wasn't able to do the interview, but that interview is still coming, and we have a replacement interviewer,
a pinch hitter.
A pinch hitter interviewer, a great guy by the name of Jason Reed from Bolt Beat.
Nice.
So he sat down and I sent him the questions, things I wanted, and we worked it out, and you're getting a really awesome interview from Matt Money Smith on Friday. So come back.
Excellent. Okay. Well, yeah, come back Friday, folks. I'm anxious to see this. I can't wait to check this out. But that's going to do it for this episode of Charge Chat, folks. Don't forget to bolt up because we're ready for any squad, any place.
Okay, love you. Bye.
Okay, love you. Bye. And now, a word from our sponsors. I have a big team with lots of holes, and my budget's pretty tight with all my money going to a QB. That's why I shop at The Draft. They've got a variety of players to fit my team's needs. Plus, I get big savings with the rookie wage scale. Oops, almost forgot to grab a 12-pack of Tyreek Hills. And I can base my needs off the combine numbers, so I know exactly what kind of player I'm getting. Low prices, college fresh, at The Draft.